In this episode of Harbor Freight Review, we're going to be looking at the Pittsburgh 20-ounce steel Antishock professional rip hammer, or better known as a framing hammer. Item number 60517. It features an oil-resistant grip, anti-shock construction, a milled waffle face, and a rip claw. The hammer is 13 1/4 inches long, and as always, there's a coupon in the description. Alright, today we are talking about the Pittsburgh Pro 20-ounce framing hammer. Before we get into that though, I've put a lot of thought into how we're going to discuss hammers. There's so many different ones out there. How do you compare this hammer to, your standard 16-ounce household hammer? And really, does it even compare to other framing hammers in general? Most people, me included, before I even started thinking about this video, thought that hammers generally are hammers. I don't nail stuff very often anymore. I've moved to auto nailers, air nailers, and screws for everything that I build for the most part. So to me, a hammer is just a destructive tool. And as you can see with all of these, they've all been through destruction. I don't really use them for building anymore. But did some research, looked into it, and really it's so complicated, all the different aspects of a hammer. So I've decided not to go into telling you all the different things about hammers. There's some really good YouTube videos out there if you want to learn about all the different types of hammers and what their uses are for and what weight you need, and really just stick to a comparison between your kitchen hammer and an actual construction hammer. And the reason I call this a kitchen hammer is because this is the one that ends up in your kitchen drawer all the time, and the one that's included in like every handyman toolkit ever. A few of the main differences though between this hammer and this hammer, other than the size, is the claw. So on your 16 curved claw hammer, 16-ounce curved claw hammer, this is good for removing finishing nails and smaller building nails. And the reason for it is because it has a smooth claw in the back. You can potentially not damage what you're trying to pull the nail out of. This claw on this one is more for ripping things apart. You got two 2x4s stuck together, and it's more like a pry bar than it is to remove nails. Even though it does have the claw in it, it's a lot more destructive. When you put your weight down into it, the front here, which is flat, is going to dig into the wood and bruise up your wood or dent your wood. So that's the biggest difference between the claws. The other big difference is the heads. So on your standard 16-ounce, you have a smaller, rounded overhead, and on your larger 20-ounce, and these actually go up to 24, this one's a 20, you have a waffle cut, which this helps grip the nail when you're driving the nail in. It'll actually grip to the top of the nail so you don't bounce off and hit anything, which allows you to put a lot more weight into it. The other thing that I read was some people actually say this is good for putting divots when you're putting up sheetrock. I've only ever put sheetrock up with screws, so I don't know why you want to do that. But they said it's good, after you're driving the nails, just give it a more little tap and put a little divot in so you can get your mud in there and flush all that out. So that was something cool that I learned while researching this. Anyways, let me put this one aside and let's talk about the 20-ounce Pittsburgh framing hammer. So, cool things about this. First of all, it's heavy. It's 20 ounce and it's got a long handle, so it's going to put a lot of the energy way up in front, so you can actually, when you're driving, well, you wouldn't drive that far out, but when you're driving, you're going to get a lot more kinetic energy out of it. Downside to that is fatigue. So I've played with this hammer a little bit, spent 30 minutes nailing stuff in, and I gotta tell you, I got a tennis elbow out of this thing. So it's not balanced whatsoever. All the weight's up front. It's got a skinny neck on it. The anti-shock of this, that's why it's skinny, is because it'll absorb the vibration into the neck instead of into your hand. So that's a good thing. But overall, you're going to get more fatigue with this one than with like a standard 16-ounce short-handled hammer. Another cool thing about this hammer is it has your nail set built into it. There's also a small magnet right there which will hold your nail. It can hold 6, 8, and 10 penny nails, and we'll show you that in the demonstration a little later. What's cool about that is you can just slap a nail in there and set it so you don't have to hold it with your hand, because who likes bruised thumbs, right? And then you can drive it in all the way. The rubber handle is nice, it's soft, doesn't put a lot of vibration back into the palm of your hand, so that's nice about this too. A lot of the less expensive hammers just do, let's see, do I have one? Yeah, one like this. This is a cheap hammer. This is a hard plastic, and you feel absolutely everything when you strike a nail with this. So that's pretty much the 20-ounce Pittsburgh hammer. Overall, I think it's a good hammer. It is the first framing hammer I've had in a while. I busted my other framing hammer, ran over it, and I never replaced it because, like I said, I do screws now. But we picked this up because we thought it'd be a cool thing to talk about and a good thing to review, because there's just so many different hammers out there. So overall, I'd say this is a pretty stout framing hammer. For the limited use I've used it, it's strong. There's nothing in the sense that it might bend or anything like that. Even though it's got a small neck, it is forged steel, so you don't have to worry about that. And the nail set's a nice little feature. The one thing that I'll say about this hammer that I wish it did have was I wish it had the front claw on it. For those of you that are familiar with it, the front claw allows you to pry on 2x4s. It'll be set right about here, and you could get this hammer in a stud and right in between the 2x4 and the stud if you needed to move it or if you needed to shim it or anything like that. I wish this hammer did have that. It's not a deal breaker for me. You do have the claw on the back, but overall I would say that for the price, this hammer is a perfectly good framing hammer. So we decided for the demonstration we'd have a little bit of a competition between me and my cameraman to see who can drive a nail in one hit. So the competition is going to go, you can set your nail and then see who can get it further down in one hit. And I'm going to win because, I mean, look at me, I'm huge, and I've used a hammer before. He never has. He's never even touched a hammer. He doesn't even know what a hammer is. So I'm going to win. As you can see, I'm preparing for the competition, getting ready to set my nail. Look at that form, getting prepared. Perfect. Done. It is in. No one better. Now look at this guy, wearing a Marvel t-shirt. He's never even held a hammer before. He has no form whatsoever. Doesn't even know what he's doing. Barely even gets it in the wood. That's why I'm the winner. Mine went all the way down. And as you can see here, someone who's skilled with the hammer and someone who isn't. Alright guys, let's talk about something serious. The zombie apocalypse. How's the Pittsburgh 20-ounce framing hammer going to handle the zombie apocalypse? So, first and foremost, you should always have a hammer in any apocalyptic scenario. Doesn't matter if it's zombies or flood or whatever. Hammers are awesome. They're a good tool to have. You can build with them. This, however, is a 20-ounce framing hammer. It's got a straight claw. It's got a waffle head. This thing is going to do some serious damage in like melee combat to zombies. So overall, I'm going to give this a solid 8, maybe an 8.5, because it's a have-to-have tool in any scenario, and it would do really good as a melee weapon. So, zombie apocalypse, definitely pick one of these up. You're going to want this. This and the flamethrower.
Hey everyone, just want to let you know I'm not affiliated with Harbor Freight and they're not sponsoring me yet. I'm just doing this because I love Harbor Freight and all their tools. I've had lots of great experiences with them, and they're always helpful. The staff is really knowledgeable, and it's really, for the most part, the best bang for your buck. So, just want to make it clear, Definitely not sponsored yet. Harbor Freight. Call me. And I hope y'all enjoy the videos.
I need a pipe. I can't hit it.
But just do all the things. Do all the different things. Okay. Take down.